All right, here we go. I'm not a lawyer, but this is the part 2 recap of the trial of Jennifer Crumbley, the first parent prosecuted and convicted for a mass school shooting committed by their child. So one of the claims that the prosecution made was that Jennifer ignored providing a basic level of care to her son because she was preoccupied with other stuff. They brought out that she owned 2 horses and say that she would go to the horse farm about 3 times a week to go be with the horses instead of coming home with her son. And they also say she was having an affair, which ultimately was not going to be brought up in trial. But the man she was having an affair with took the stand, and Jennifer's attorney asked some questions that, according to the judge, allowed for the prosecution to talk about the affair.
It's fair to say that when you've talked to law enforcement, they have said things that make you feel like you're going to be in trouble because of your friendship with Jennifer Crumbley.
Correct.
So when you're up here on the stand today saying some of these things, we can agree they are brand new within the last few months. Okay, so largely what has influenced you to change what you say, what you said initially, is because police have talked to you and made you change your mind, correct?
Judge, objection. We're getting dangerously close to what defense counsel has sought to exclude, and I need to be able to redirect.
Yeah, let's be careful.
Well, the door's open.
Okay, let's be careful.
If counsel is going to lay the implication of a certain reason.
Well, you're asking whether law enforcement threatened him in order to get him to lie?
Then the door is wide open for the people.
It might be.
Thank you, Judge.
Well,
I don't care if the door's open. That's fine. Mr. Melosh, we were talking about the 3 different times that you spoke to police, correct?
Yeah.
It's fair that from the very beginning, the first time you talked to police, you told police that you and Mrs. Crumbley had an extramarital affair, correct?
Correct.
You told police from the very beginning your relationship with Mrs. Crumbley involved a sexual relationship, correct?
So the state says that Jennifer was preoccupied with her horses and having an affair instead of paying attention to her son, even when he was very clearly reaching out to her. Fast forward to November 26th. This is only days before the shooting. James Crumbley purchases Ethan the 9mm weapon, and Ethan posts a picture of him and the weapon on Instagram with the caption, quote, "Just got my new beauty today." The following day, November 27th, Jennifer takes Ethan to the shooting range. She buys bullets for the weapon and even posts about it on Facebook, calling it a mother-son day for Ethan to, quote, test out his new Christmas present. Ethan also posts about the visit to the range on his Instagram.
Took my new SIG out to the range today. Definitely need to get used to the new sights, LOL. The date they went to the range being the 27th, the day after Thanksgiving.
2 days later, November 29th, 2021, a teacher sees Ethan searching for bullets on his phone during class. The teacher reports this to the school counselor, and the counselor has a short meeting with Ethan to discuss what he was doing on his phone.
This is Monday, November 29th, 9:32 a.m. Can you read us, please, what the email says?
I have a student during first hour today, defendant's son, who is on his phone looking at different bullets at the end of first hour today as I was walking around the room passing out their essays. I didn't get a chance to investigate it a bit further since it was the end of the hour. Now that he's on my radar, I'm also noticing some of his previous work that he's completed from earlier in the year leans a bit toward the violent side. I can bring these things later today during my 5th hour prep if you would like them.
Was a decision made to take the next step to contact a parent?
There was a phone call to the parent after the meeting.
A voicemail is left on Jennifer's phone with no further instructions except for if she has questions that she should call them back. She doesn't end up calling them back, but instead she texts her son about what happened. Ethan says, quote, "This is nothing I should get in trouble about," to which Jennifer says, "You're not in trouble. They left me a voicemail." And then, "Did you show them a picture of your new gun?" Jennifer continues on saying, quote, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught." The following day, now it's November 30th, the day of the shooting, at 8:05 a.m., another email is sent to the school counselor about something Ethan is watching on his phone.
Tuesday, November 30th, 2021 at 8:05 a.m.
I know Jackie emailed you guys yesterday with some concerns about the student in our first hour class. Today he is watching videos on his phone of a guy gunning down people. It looks like it's a movie scene and not security footage / a real event, but definitely still concerning when taking into account some of his other behaviors.
Before the counselor can go and get Ethan from his class to talk about the video he was watching, the counselor learns from the dean of students that Ethan has been doodling some very concerning things on his math assignment.
My first thought was I wanted to get from him what he was doing. His initial response was that it was a video game, that he liked drawing for video games and liked being able to create in that way. And then I asked him to talk about some of the words that he had written down.
By this point, had you seen the original drawing?
No,
Okay. So the words you were asking to explain were on this sheet here, 123.
that is correct.
The first flagged version of Ethan's assignment looks like this. But before the paper is turned into the counselor, Ethan has added more words and more doodles to the page.
So what words in particular stood out to you?
I noticed the words of "I love my life so much," "the thoughts won't stop." I could make out "help me" under the crossed out part, and "harmless act." So it made me concerned that a student may potentially be suicidal or be displaying suicidal ideation.
The counselor asks him about the paper and what, personally, that's been going on with him.
He mentioned that a family dog had died recently. He mentioned that a grandparent had passed, that he was struggling with COVID and with school through COVID. And he mentioned that he had an argument with his parents about grades the night before.
The counselor calls Ethan's mom, Jennifer Crumbley.
I let her know that I had the student in my office and I had some concerns and was hoping that she would be able to come into the school.
At 10:40 a.m., both Jennifer and James make it to the school and go in to speak to the counselor and their son, Ethan. The counselor shares what Ethan has said about the dog, about his grandmother, and his best friend, and Jennifer confirms it's all true. Now, during that meeting, the counselor shares with them some other events that have happened with Ethan at the school that they've never told them before.
September the 8th, 2021, 8:23 a.m. This is an email from a different teacher to you.
Hi, Sean. Could you please touch base with student? In his autobiography poem, he said he feels terrible and that his family is a mistake.
Can you tell us what this says, please?
Student is having a rough time right now. He might need to speak with you. The following day, I had a quick meeting in the hallway on his way to class and just let him know that if he needed somebody to talk to, that I could be there for him.
Okay. Now, did you contact either that student's mother or father at that point?
I did not.
Come back for part 3 so I can tell you what happens after the meeting, and Jennifer Crumbley herself gets on the stand.